I'm sorry, I really find it hard to take NFL Network's Mike Mayock seriously anymore. And I really have tried to pay attention to what Mike says, but because he's presented before me on the NFL Network, I'm sorry, I give up. And this whole business of picking Marcus Mariota over Jameis Winston is the latest example of what I'm talking about. Mike Mayock's the same person that told us that Mark Sanchez of USC was better than Matt Stafford of Georgia. How'd that turn out? He famously told us that Blaine Gabbert was much better than Cam Newton. How did that turn out? He's the same person that told us last year that Johnny Manziel was better than Teddy Bridgewater, while I said that Johnny Manziel was right for only one team in one situation, and that was the Houston Texans, who didn't pick him. Manziel was sent to the Cleveland Browns, stuck into an offense that he's completely unfamiliar with, and not surprisingly, he flopped and went into rehab. Oh, and then how about Geno Smith and E.J. Manuel? Mike Mayock wasn't excited about either one of them. And then Nolan the Rocky, who was with Pro Football Weekly, went on a rant against Geno that some thought was really, really racist, including me, because Nolan's done it before with respect to Robert Griffin. And look, the bottom line is someone's going to say, well, Nolan said that he wasn't being racist and he evaluated. Look, no one is going to come up and say, oh yeah, I was being that. Ridiculous. The bottom line is when you use words like lazy and they're coded to make you think of the common black person that historically doesn't work hard. No. And remember, Mike Mayock was the same person that questioned Cam Newton's heart. Mike Mayock has some sort of weird issue when it comes to black quarterbacks. I don't know what's going on with Mike, but it's there. He just couldn't bring himself to accept the fact that Jameis Winston was light years ahead of Marcus Mariota. He couldn't bring himself to accept the fact that Jameis Winston knows football better than Mariota. He can't bring himself to accept the fact that Jameis Winston knows football better than he does. And Mike keeps going right back to that tried and true comment, oh, well, I looked at his tape, and he threw interceptions in the first half, but he played well the second half. Well, did you bother to look at the kind of defenses he was being pushed against, or rather asked to face, and the kind of coverages that were being thrown at him in the first half and the adjustments that were made? I have never seen Mike Mayock get up before a whiteboard and draw a play. Never once. I have never seen him get involved in a chalk or a whiteboard challenge with anyone. Mike, I challenge you to whiteboard challenge. I will beat you. I will beat you so bad, it will make you cry. I'm serious about that. The bottom line is, you are in a position here where, yeah, you have to state an opinion and all that sort of thing, but it should be done with care. And when you have the kind of track record that Mike has, you have to stop and turn around and say, what kind of message am I sending out to people about who I am as a person? Because the television doesn't lie. Anybody with half a brain for football can see that Jameis Winston is an excellent quarterback choice. He is a very young, very bright, very precocious kid who is growing rapidly, learns quickly, 4.0 student, almost went to Stanford. Think about that. No one talks about that. Oh, it can't possibly be the case. This fellow that talks the way that he does and all this went to Stanford and he's black. That's the underlying message that's sent. Remember, we're at a time when just the other Saturday, Walter Scott was shot by a white cop who tried to cover it up and make it look like just another black guy who was doing bad things. We still have a messed up society. And Mike has got to be aware of the kind of message he sends out within that context. And if he looks at this and says, oh, he's completely wrong and everything, I'm not wrong. And I don't say this with glee. I say this with a lot of pain. I want to like Mike Mayock and what he does. I like him he projects as a person, but what he puts out, it makes me cringe. It really does. Coupled with the fact that he's wrong all the time. All right, I've said my piece. The bottom line is this. Marcus Mariota, I hate to say this, will not be a success in the NFL. He's being pumped up to be a success. But Marcus Mariota, and I've said this before, is smart enough to know where his actual skill set lay. He doesn't quite look like the world like Blaine Gabbert, and so he's not easily snowed by all these accolades, whereas Blaine was. And Blaine expected to go number one, and you could see it on draft day. He was seething when he realized it wasn't going to happen. It was clear right there in the red carpet line when I saw him. I felt sorry for Blaine because he bought everything that was being sold to him, hook, line, and sinker, and at the end of the day, it didn't pan out, and it still hasn't. So, the bottom line is this. Mike Mayock says Marcus Mariota is better than Jameis Winston. That actually means that Jameis Winston is really, really good.